one of the big conversations I've been hearing a lot of authors have is that the group of authors that they debuted with are doing different levels of success now, several years into their career, and that can be a little confrontational, can feel a little grating if you are not one of the more successful people. A lot of us will come into the publishing space with a large group of debut authors. The smart ones work together to build each other up and to help each other's careers grow. Some people are outliers to that, but I had a really cool group of debut authors, and some of us have done really well, and some of us have done exceptionally well, while others really have kind of faded by the wayside. So when you are in that space where you can very easily see somebody you came up with, somebody you debuted with doing dramatically better than you, that can feel really painful. I have some friends who now have movie deals that are like in the works with giant name Hollywood people, and that can feel hard. It can feel not so great because I put in so much work and so much effort, and they maybe put in a little bit less than me because they were working with a big traditional publisher or something. It can feel like I should have that too. So what do we do when we're in that space? It's important to remember our professional careers are going to be different. We're writing different books, we're publishing in different ways, we're working with different professionals, we are in different spaces, and we're going to have different fans. We cannot be looking at the people to the left and right and assuming we need to be like them or our careers should be in the same way. We are each running our own races. We're on our own individual paths. I will get to where I'm going when I'm supposed to, just like they're going to get where they're going when they're supposed to. There will always be people who are doing better than you and people who are not doing as well as you. You are somewhere in the middle. You will have those people. Now, one of the things that I love to do is a bit of a perspective shift. I intentionally surround myself with people who are doing better than me. What do I want in my career? Do I want that movie deal? Do I want to work with that big name publisher? Do I want a certain number of fans? Do I want TikTok fame? I'm looking for people who are performing better than me, whether they have walked the path long before me or they're walking the path at the same time as me and just happen to get ahead a little bit. I'm watching them as a way of inspiration, as a way of guiding my path because they're doing the things that I want to do. So I am going to leave the jealousy aside whenever possible. It's not really possible to like completely leave it there. I get it. It is hard. And I love my friends and I can be jealous of some of their success at the same time. But I'm watching what they're doing so that I can use those as guide markers for the steps I'm taking. Again, we have different paths, different ways of doing this. As I'm having this conversation with you, I'm thinking of one particular friend. I love her to pieces. She is the nicest, most lovely human being. I adore being around her. She came out at the same time that I did with our debut novels, but she and I walked very different paths. She worked with a big traditional publisher. I self-published my early books, most of my books. We're on different paths. We've seen different levels of success. I am extremely popular on social media. Her social media is not doing super well. She has a movie deal and I've had screenplays written, but it's never really gone anywhere. So we're doing things, but we have success in different areas. I know because she's told me she is a little bit sad that she doesn't have the social media success that I do. And she knows that my social media success is getting me sales, is getting me opportunities, is opening doors in other spaces. So it's kind of a grass is always greener on the other side situation. She's a little bit jealous of some of the things I do. I'm a little bit jealous of some of the things that she does. And we can still work together. We can still do projects together. We can still support each other while still feeling like we wish we had a little bit of what the other person had. So I'm watching what she's doing. And she's watching what I'm doing. She's trying to do some of the things that I'm doing to get the social media success that I have and the sales that I have, while I'm trying to take some of those steps to get me in front of certain key players to open the doors to certain opportunities for me. And I can learn from her and she can learn from me. And we are both actively doing this, but I've done this with many of my author friends who have had different levels of success. I have a friend who made $1 million on her book in a year. I actively paid attention to what she was doing so that I could implement that into my strategy. I'm getting advice from her. I did get advice from her so that I could implement that into some of my strategies. And she came to me again for the social media success. She got a lot of information from me to build things up. And by implementing that, she did successfully get a lot of social media awareness for her and for her books. And so it's not easy to see the people that we came up with, the people that we started with, we were all the same line. We all started in the same year. It is not easy to see that people are in different places, but it's important to remember that once we start, we're not staying on the same track. Those tracks are diverging into different paths. And sometimes their lane took them through a forest we didn't go through. Sometimes my lane took me underneath a car that I had to go under to get to the other side. Sometimes we're going up over the hills and we're going around different places. The finish line, depending on what you want, might be the same. Maybe yes, maybe no. But just because we started in the same space when that starter's pistol went off and we started running, just because we started in the same place doesn't mean we were at any point on the same journey, taking the same steps, doing the same things. So comparison, they say, is the thief of joy, right? So by looking at those people and saying, oh, well, that person's big and famous and she's doing New York Comic-Cons and she's doing all of these other things, we can't compare ourselves to that. Once I was at a big convention and one of the other authors I was with saw a person that she debuted at the same time, was friends kind of with that person. And that friend did above and beyond. She got the movie deal. She has the Netflix deal. She's done all of these things. She's always signing. Everybody wants her. And my friend is well known as an author, but not nearly to that level. And she was just so upset about how that person changed and all of these things and the fact that she didn't get it. And it wasn't productive. It wasn't a productive conversation for her. And sometimes we do need to vent to friends. Absolutely. Have your close friends, have those vent sessions, but then figure out how you can recreate some of those steps, make some of those similar connections, or plot a new path for yourself. You don't have to have the same things. Your success isn't limited by what other people's success is. You define your success. So maybe you do want that Netflix deal. Maybe you do want 1 million copies sold. Maybe you do want some of these things, but you don't have to get there the same way and you don't have to do it in the same way. You can do things very differently and get the results that you want, whether or not they're exactly like the other people that you debuted with. So I know when it comes to seeing people who started in the same place, being at a different place now, several years into your career, that can be a little disheartening, or it can be encouraging, and it depends on who you are as a person and how you're going to leverage that with yourself emotionally, mentally, internally, so that you can either spring yourself forward and continue to work and have the drive and do the things and make the most of it and be happy for that person, or if you're going to let it sink your ship. And keep in mind, you can be so happy for those people who are doing the thing that you want to do while also still being sad for yourself and maybe a little jealous. All of those things can be true at once. None of those things are going to make you a bad friend unless you are making yourself bitter with it and you're not being nice or polite to them, you're talking down about them. Then of course that's not okay. But you can have the emotions of being so happy for that person and those cool things that are happening to them and still being sad that you don't have those things. That is okay and that is healthy. Just make sure that you are actively taking steps to take care of yourself during this process. Drop your questions down below. I know this is not an easy one. This is a hard one for us to kind of swallow. It is not the most fun conversation to have, but I am here to support you. So if you're feeling a little down today, we're here. We as a community are here to help build you up. You are on your own path. You're going to get to where you're supposed to be and the time you're supposed to be in it. And the more you put effort into it, the better you're going to do. We'll see you tomorrow for our daily episodes helping you navigate the world of author life, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing to your mental and emotional well-being, to make sure that this is your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress and overwhelm and heartache as possible. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.